Hello and welcome to the podcast for the Metaphysical Network for Conscious Living. My name is Ross Taylor, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Norman Detillieux. Norman will be speaking at the Unitarian Fellowship Hall at 595 Townsite Road on Tuesday, October 28th, and his presentation is titled Free Energy. We begin at 7 p.m. and we ask that you bring a $20 cash donation. Let me begin by telling you a little bit about the network and Norman, and then we can jump right into our conversation. The Metaphysical Network for Conscious Living helps people seeking community, connection, and spiritual development to feel inspired and empowered by providing enlightening experiences through seminars, workshops, podcasts, fairs, and conferences. So a little bit about Norman. Norman is a playful and purposeful expression of love, service, and presence. His passion is helping people connect to their innate potential, optimizing their well-being through tapping into a larger field of energy that is free and accessible for all. He leads workshop experiences and community initiatives that spark participation, connection, and collective transformation, creating opportunities for souls to awaken to their innate gifts and play with the magic all around. He has over 20 years of service here in Nanaimo, BC, which is home with his beautiful partner, Heather Lynn, who helps him in 10,000 plus ways. Norman will lead us through an experiential evening of healing, transformation, and quantum as we dance in the field of possibility. Learn practical tools, experience energetic phenomena, and access new possibilities. The only prerequisite is previous studies at Earth School, a curiosity, and a focus greater than self. That's you. The focus of the evening is energetic, and our environment and intent matters. Our presence, breath, energy, intention, creativity, and collaboration will affect our energy state and greatly influence the potentiality of the evening. You are invited to participate fully. Welcome, Norman.
Hi, it's wonderful to be here.
Excellent. So good to have you and so good to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Ross. And hey, everybody, nice to meet say hi to the Metaphysical Network too. This is a real homecoming. And we were just talking, I'd done a presentation with William and Judith when they were the founders. I think it was about 18 or 19 years ago when I first came to town. So it's nice to be invited back, and I'm really excited to share the evening with you all.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. So in your introduction, there was you made mention of awaken to your innate gifts. And the reason I want to focus on that as a starting point is that this seems to be coming up a lot lately. And so I'd love to hear your perspective on what it means to awaken to your innate gifts.
Excellent. Okay, so innate. Innate means inborn. It's born within us, and it's something that we don't have to learn or study. The simplest example, actually, is if you look at a baby. When the baby is first born and the mom takes the baby to her chest, the baby knows to turn and to suck on the breast. It's like truly incredible. And that's not something that mom has to teach the baby. It's just hardwired within. And so that happens on a basic biological factor. And truly innate is the greatest doctor on the whole planet. There is not a disease known to man that innate has not healed. True story. And now when we take the next step, and when we talk beyond just the biological healing, when we speak about our gifts are those things that we do naturally well and that we have enjoyment around too, that we really enjoy, that it lights us up. And so, if you're discovering your innate gifts, a simple place to start is just to ask your family and friends, what do I do well? And to observe yourself, what are you naturally drawn to? Human beings, though, we're hardwired typically to head upstream and to look at what we don't do well and think that we need to study more, work harder, and work on those things where, life is really meant to go downstream, right? And work with those natural gifts. So unfortunately, our educational process often kind of educates us out of that, right? We get so hardwired into our brains and thinking more than actually feeling and tapping into those gifts. So I think life is really about an uncovering and a revealing of that which is within.
I love that. And you're reminding me of the power of the nervous system, because when we're dysregulated, we're certainly going to be swimming upstream as opposed to rolling over on our back and allowing ourselves to float downstream.
You're speaking my language.
what would you like the listeners to know about you?
Oh, that's great. I'm a curious soul. I came out and, myself, I was born actually in a farm back in Saskatchewan. And, that wasn't really my best place to be as a high sensitive energy being, a soul who is here to become a healer. But oddly, it was the perfect beginning in that it taught me to connect with nature. And also, my father had a really serious back injury too.
Mm.
So it led me towards chiropractic, which was my first foundational introduction to health and healing. And later on, my eyes were open to the potentials of the energetic phenomena that life is. I had incredible spiritual awakenings through my schooling that had me just realize that life is way more than we've been led to believe. And since that time, my focus has really been in unplugging myself from the matrix. And when I say the matrix, I mean, the mainstream world and opening up to what is real and what's possible. And what I've uncovered, is life is truly magical. And when I say that, it's not like hocus pocus and a bunch of tricks. It's about realizing that the reality of being human is truly extraordinary. One of my teachers, Sadhguru, he states, this is not about being uh, extraordinarily human. It's about realizing that being human is extraordinary. And I think that is so on point. This is the reality of who we are, the ability to heal, the ability to connect with people on such a depth. The nature of mind is really phenomenal too, as we study more and more into it.
Okay. And you mentioned that life is way more than we can imagine. And maybe you could go into that a little bit deeper as well.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it. One of the things we've just explored in our office, we just did a workshop more on the quantum reality.
Mm.
And, quantum is a whole trip, right? We've been kind of led into more of the 4D world, which is time, height, width, and depth, right? That's the 4D. And the mind loves to relate in that world. And in the quantum world, we open up to way more possibilities. In the quantum world, it demonstrates that electrons can actually be in two places at one time. That electron pairs when you change the spin of one electron, the other pair will change as well. And it happens actually faster than the speed of light, which demonstrates that there's actual an intelligence that's connecting them beyond, just the energy that we're seeing. Pretty amazing. Personal experience. It was just a couple of weeks ago, we were preparing for a workshop and it was around holistic healing, and I called it alchemy.
Mm.
And as I prepared for the workshop, I always tune into source around what does this one want to be about? And so I got some insights that, yeah, this really wants to be around time. Now, the mind loves to reference time from past to future, right? And what we see in a quantum world, that time is really just a persistent illusion of the mind, and that time is way more malleable than we would uh, think it is. And so, as the story unfolds, we were working with a woman, Dawn, and what we were demonstrating is how our future can actually change our past, meaning the choices that we make today and the future that we open to can significantly change our past. And how this unfolded for Dawn was that her story is that some 20 years ago, she had lost her father. And during that time, she was going through a very deep healing process and missing him. And her mind was waking her up at 3 in the morning. And she said, okay, what am I going to do to control my mind? She said, well, I'm going to dive into quantum physics. This is the most, really intense study I can do. And so she did. And she just saturated herself with quantum physics. Fast forward 20 years. Now, her reference point was always that she had studied quantum physics only to get through the grieving process of her dad. That's all she had understood it. Through that evening, we actually we offered it as kind of like Hogwarts, if you will, all right, as a place of study. And so Dawn came forward and she did a report on retrocausality, right? And so she was talking through this around quantum physics and retrocausality and how our future can impact our past, right? And by the end of the night, what became clear was that, and I brought it forward to her, was that, what if she was studying 20 years ago to prepare for the talk that we were doing that night? And she sat there and went, oh my goodness, wow. And her whole world just kind of shifted around her reference point to the past. See, the truth is, our past, we only remember some like 0.0001% of our past, and much of it we actually make up, and it's not even true. So, it's like, why is that the truth? But we base so much of who we are based on our memories of the past, right? So that is one example of many different examples around how, life is way more than we think. And by making new choices today and by accessing new energetics of the future, we can actually shift, how we reference the past. Truly, the mind is like, wow, that is beyond, right?
And it's interesting, like the different perspectives on what you're saying, because, and when I say perspectives, I mean looking at it from a different way than, because when we're talking about quantum physics, sometimes my brain is just like wants to explode. And yet when you bring up the example of the present impacts the past, it's so fascinating because I was given this quote, the future creates the present, which if you look back on your example that you gave, it's like, yeah, she was preparing for that talk 20 years ago. And these different perspectives of looking at the same thing. And there's an entanglement with those things. Like I know from the work that I've done that what I do now is impacting my past. It's rewriting it, and that there's this like cyclical nature to it that is entangled with this present moment.
It's true. Truly amazing.
And go ahead.
I've had people I've worked with, they've shared stories with me around x-rays that they've had.
Mm,
And then they've done the work, totally radically changed who they thought they were, open to a new future, gone back and looked at the x-rays, and the x-rays have changed.
wow. That's amazing. And somehow not surprising.
Yeah,
All right. So I feel like we could keep going down this road and explore different rabbit holes, but maybe we could finish off with you sharing just a little bit of what you might want people to know about the evening on the 28th.
absolutely. And so, what we're talking about are the concepts, right, of quantum physics and healing. And the truth is we could talk about it all day long and we just simply fill your mind with concepts, right?
Right.
It's interesting, but where the magic lies is in the experience,
Mm,
right? When it becomes experience, now it's true for you when you've had an actual experience. And in many ways in our culture, we're inundated with too much information, right? And that just clutters the mind and that takes us away from actual experience. So if you found today's talk at all interesting, then I look forward to that evening. It's Tuesday, October 28th. And that is not a talk, okay? It's an experience. It's an experiential workshop. We're going to be exploring self-regulation, right? How to work with your nervous system, the power of breath. We're going to be exploring energetic phenomena. We're going to be looking at not only your own energy, but also how to connect with the energy of the field, the energy around us, and the collective field as well, because it's true when two or more are gathered, right? There it is. And so we're going to have an incredible opportunity to access some profound energy. And we're also going to dance in the quantum as well, which I hope to expand your minds as far as what's possible that evening. I'm really excited for it because it's a unique opportunity that I can come together with people who are really open to this sort of phenomenon. And so it's a kind of outside of my comfort zone. It's going to be, really leading edge for me. And that's where things are juicy, right? When we do things that are familiar, some energy, but when we can do things that are new and fresh, that there's a lot more potential there. So I'm super excited for it and really grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Mm, that sounds amazing. I look forward to the experience on the 28th.
Yeah, so
And if anybody wants to find more about you, where would they find information about you? Where's the easiest place to go?
yeah, you can visit my professional website, which would be www.thelifehouse, L-I-F-E, house.ca, or you could email me too, drnorman at thelifehouse.ca. Those would be your options. And yeah, I'd love to I love connecting with seekers and people who are open to more.
Excellent. Thanks, Norman, for taking the time to have this conversation with me today and looking forward to your presentation. For everyone listening, please join us at 595 Townsite Road at the Unitarian Church, Fellowship Hall at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 28th. Bye for now.